Hi everybody, I'm Richard Lewis. I'm still at DreamHack. I'm still in the press area and I'm still doing interviews. I've not been fired yet. That's good news. And this is going to be an awesome interview. It's another first time for me. The guys of Complexity have been doing super well at this tournament. They've exceeded expectations. And I've got the mighty frame of Semphis from Canada, not US, don't get that wrong, with me to talk about their incredible journey. They've just beat Astana Dragons. Let's start there, right? Because that is a fucking upset and a half, I think. I mean, going into that game, were you really confident that you were going to do it? I mean, did you believe? Because Astana Dragons have such a big reputation.
Yeah, I mean, I think we boot camped for 7 days in Stockholm at Inferno Online. So being able to play versus, we actually scrimmed them a couple times. So that helps, you know, like getting a feel for our team's play style, couple tendencies. Not like you know everything they do, because no one's going to use everything in a scrim, in one scrim at least. So we knew a little bit about how they played. Then that combined with playing all the other Euros, getting our aim up, you know, 7 days, playing 13 hours a day, you know, it does help eventually. Then when we got to the actual tournament to play Astana, it came down to like map choices, because basically we don't play terrain, and most people don't play terrain. But the problem is that we also suck on Mirage, and you can only veto one. So yeah, they vetoed terrain, and we vetoed Mirage, which gave us the 3 maps that are the most fair for us to play. So it's not like we've never played terrain or Mirage. It's just in the US it's really hard to play those maps, and when you only have 7 days, we worked on the ones we were already good at, and we try to play. We scrim them. It's not like we've never played the maps, but it's just there's not as many hours logged as there on, like, you know, Dust 2, Inferno, and Nuke, which are like our staples, I guess, in how we play.
Well, I mean, what about in terms of just how you've snowballed through the tournament, you know? I saw you get the result against Very Games, right? Like, I mean, do you feel you've gained momentum as the tournament's gone on, or do you think you came here super sharp from the Inferno Online bootcamp?
I mean, I don't think we expected to just do... Like, we're all just on fire. Like, every player's coming out with huge rounds, and I mean, that's definitely due to the boot camp, I think. It's not like we didn't expect it. We knew we can beat all these teams. The main thing that we've always complained about is we always get BO3s really early in the tournament on like NIP or VG. We just wanted one chance to play like other teams, and I guess we had to earn it by beating VG. So when we took VG out, that was kind of like our key to finally play a team that isn't the top 2, because, you know, VG and NIP are basically a little bit higher than the rest of the teams. They're like the premier 2 teams. So it was nice to be able to finally play in best of 3 format, like, you know, Astana. You know, now we can play Fnatic, and I don't know. I definitely think we all believed we could do it. It was just about like putting together like everything that we learned at the boot camp, everything, you know, people coming with big plays. You know, it's just a combination of everything.
Well, let's talk about just the American scene in general. Like, historically, I would say American teams, when they've come to Europe, it's been a mixed bag, but mostly disappointing, I would say. I mean, were you guys worried because, you know, you've got the jet lag issue? I mean, you know, it's very hard to stay over here for a prolonged period of time. It's not like you can just say, oh, we'll have a month boot camp, right? It costs a fucking fortune, especially in Sweden. Yeah, we are broke. I'm broke. We're all broke. So, you know, I mean, was it like... Were you worried about being like almost like another national embarrassment? I mean, were you even thinking about the whole kind of American, like North American, European rivalry and angle?
I think it's always in the back of your mind that you don't want to disappoint your continent and the people that support you. I think there was a little bit of pressure that was like laid off of us when iBuyPower went 0-2, because it was really hard, like not taking anything away from them, but it was hard. Like, we would have to go 0-2 also and lose with similar scores to be equal, and I mean, it's like if they were doing really well, then we'd feel like we had to do really well to like kind of match up, you know. And maybe that's just us being stupid or something, but it did feel like there was no pressure on us. It was just like we go play our game, and maybe we can thank them.
Well, I want to talk about the Complexity brand name as well. I mean, like, representing Complexity in Counter-Strike is a fucking huge deal. I mean, for those of us who grew up watching, you know, Counter-Strike in its various iterations, they've always been one of the premier teams. You know, in 1.6, huge present, you know, the North American Masters. When CSS came around, it was Complexity that dominated the CGS when CSS was at its peak. Now we enter CSGO, and here you guys are, and, you know, you've proven that you are an elite team. I mean, do you guys, I mean, do you feel like almost driven to be that good, to work that hard because of the Complexity brand? Like, is it a help to you or is it a hindrance?
I mean, I don't think anyone feels pressure to perform for Complexity in terms of, like, we don't want to give them bad results. There's not pressure in that sense, but there's pressure in the sense that you don't want to join Complexity and then just fail at every event you go to. And it's not from, like, you know, the management side or like being scared of getting cut. It's just more so, you know, like you said, they had a great history and you don't want to kind of join and just fail. Yeah, it's just, but another thing is, like, what you said about, like, North America and, like, the results is going back to that. It's like, personally, like, me and Hiko's teams, like, I don't feel like we really ever did that bad. Like, first event, ESWC, we got third. Yeah, which is respectable. I mean, I guess there wasn't as many teams that were on this level back then, so obviously it means a little bit less. But and then we went to Copenhagen Games and we got 5th to 6th, which isn't terrible. You know, that's still top 5-ish, and then top 3. Then we got 2nd at ESEA LAN, which still had 4 international teams, and we beat VG there, and that in a 2-0. And I mean, we definitely haven't won a tournament, and it's really hard for us from American to, you know, like you said, like, represent Complexity and stuff, because we have multiple people going to school, some people working, you know, it's just, we're going to all these events, you know, people are, like, taking days off to finish their schoolwork, you know, like, people have real life shit to do, and it's, if we were like NIP and I think we lived in Europe and we played, I think we really could consistently get good results. I think it does take a boot camp right now, and it just doesn't cut it when we have our, you know, work, school life, and playing North American teams only. Like, we need the boot camp, or else we just kind of, it's just, we don't have enough to push us over the edge, I don't think.
Yeah. What about playing with nothing, right? Like, I got to ask about that, because this guy, I mean, he's an old school guy, right? I mean, like, and he's a bona fide 1.6 celebrity. He's a bona fide esports celebrity. Like, people know who the fuck he is. He's one of the few FPS players that probably have that luxury in the current landscape. Is it? I mean, what does he sort of bring to the team? What's it like playing alongside that guy?
I mean, he's got a more, like, loose play style than other players. So it did take us a little bit to mold around him, you know, but we had a couple bad results and we tried to fix it, you know, and it took a couple tries. You don't get everything perfect instantly, especially with a new team. And you know, when we kind of got, like, his play style, kind of get how he plays, and then because, like, the rest of us 4 were kind of, like, more like strat based, you know, and it's not like he can't do that, because he can, but, you know, he's like, you've seen him, like, play versus VG and stuff. He just jumps in the pit and kills, like, 2 guys. Like, he's been on fire at this event, and you can't really hold a player like him back, I guess. So it does take a little bit to learn from him, but, you know, he's a really nice guy. You know, when he actually wants to play, he has, like, energy, has ideas, you know, definitely, like, veteran experience and stuff at events. So, I mean, he's a good teammate.
So let's talk about your DreamHack experience before we come back to tournament chat. What have you thought of it? I mean, I am right, it is your first, right? This is your first DreamHack? So cool, I thought so. I'm not tripping. Have you been? Has it been overwhelming, exciting, underwhelming? What have you thought of it all?
Yeah, I've never been to DreamHack. It's a pretty cool place. We've had, like, 1 or 2 of these in Vancouver, but on a much like a smaller scale. So it's definitely pretty insane that so many people come here with, like, just their computers and just play. Like, we didn't come the very first day. We came the second day, and when we were walking through, it was just, like, drones of people, and they were, like, bloodshot eyes, just tired, like they've been gaming for 45 hours straight. People are brushing their teeth in the washrooms, you know, doing their hair and stuff, and, like, it's cool and all. I mean, no hate. It's just different, you know, from any other one I've been to. It's really cool. I like it.
Yeah. Okay, well, right, let's get back to the tournament then. That was a quick diversion. I want to sort of just ask you about, you know, now that you're in there and you're in the mix with the big boys, I mean, the real big boys, Is there a risk that you might sort of take your foot off the pedal a little bit because you've already, in the eyes of many, I imagine, kind of overachieved? Or do you think that, you know, you really can go all the way? Like, I was talking to Semler earlier. He thinks if you guys beat Astana, you're going to win the whole thing. I mean, like, what's the mindset in the camp right now?
We're not going to give up. I mean, not yet. It's just like, as long as we play our game, like we scrimmed most of these teams. We scrimmed NIP, we played Fnatic. The only team we didn't really scrim is VG. So we've never got like 3-0'd in a BO3 scrim or anything. So that definitely helps your confidence, you know, scrimming people, beating them, knowing that, you know, like, they're just like us, you know. I think a lot of North Americans, like, they don't get to play versus other Europeans, so they're in HLTV, they're watching clips, and they're like, you know, Scream is so insane, best aim. Like, don't get me wrong, he has insane aim, but when you play versus him, it's not like it's impossible to kill him. And sometimes I guess that gets in the back of your head, but when you have a boot camp and you play versus them and you realize they're just another player, you know, if you play your own game, you can beat them. I guess that's the mentality we've had as a team, is just kind of realizing that these guys aren't that much better and we can beat them all.
I want to ask as well just about who you would like to play in the final. I know obviously you've got another game before you get there, but if you could play either of the two teams in the opposite bracket, which would be Very Games and NIP, in the final, who would you like to play ideally and why?
If it was a guaranteed win, I'd like to play NIP. If I
well, it's not a guaranteed win. You've still got to beat them in the final, but it's like, which one would you think you would?
No, I'm just saying hypothetically. Like, if I was going to win, I would rather play NIP. If I was being like honest, I think we match up versus VG style better than versus NIPs. Not that we can't beat NIP. We've took maps on them like one time, I guess, on Nuke. They're a different type of team. They're really aim-based, but it's not stupid, you know? It's not like they're all just going around doing whatever they want. It's coordinated, quick attacks, hard to read. They're very good at utilizing like the money, and VG has some of the traits, but they're more readable in my opinion than NIP. And when NIP gets on fire, they start like playing out of their own comfort zones. They stop running their strats, they start running their setups, and they start doing more individual shit. Force will just pick up and up. Freeberg will start just rushing. Get Right will make like run through a smoke. You know, and the thing is, they're also not scared of doing it in the finals. You know, like a lot of teams, they might play like that, group stage, online matches. NIP doesn't care. Like if they're winning 5-0, they want to win 8-0, so they're going to do whatever it takes to get that. And it's not impossible to beat. They've lost a couple tournaments in a row, but you don't want to play an on-fire NIP when they're playing like with full confidence. So I think if we played NIP, it would be good to win pistols and kind of like humble them, you know, like make sure that they know that, you know, this is not a walkover. But yeah, that's my honest feelings on those two teams.
And just finally, Complexity are known historically for having a manager behind them and shouting and geeing them up. Traditionally, Jason Lake, I'm sure we all remember that. But I noticed Scoots was behind you guys. He had the bat out. He was trying to cheer you on and gee you up. Did that help you guys? Were you expecting that to happen?
No, we weren't really expecting it. I mean, we have a couple Americans and Canadians here that, you know, they kind of just support us. You know, we're their local team, right? Like, Miss Harvey was there, Sir Scoots, our other Complexity, like Caster, Beef and stuff. You know, they all come and like, you know, support us, and that's really cool. I mean, for me, I'm not like super emotional in terms of like getting pumped up and stuff, but I mean, it could definitely help the others. I think. I mean, it definitely is good for the team morale having people cheer for you, I think. But yeah, in terms of the managers not coming, you know, we have a manager. His name's Mike. He was at ESWC and in Texas and stuff, but I guess unfortunately he couldn't come to this one. Mostly, I guess probably because we were boot camping and stuff, it made it a lot longer. The trek is also really far. It's not like if he can come to, when he went to ESWC, he flies to Paris, stays for 4 days, goes home. He flies to Stockholm, he's got to train, you know, it's a lot of work. So yeah, I think the combination of, you know, time and money for that kind of stuff is just, yeah.
Well, Scoots is not a bad stand-in. No. Look, it's great to finally talk to you. I've seen you at events. I've always been too intimidated to even say hello. You're just huge, and you got a Viking beard, and it just fucking. I haven't. But best of luck for it, man. It's good to see an American team fucking standing up and representing. It's been a long time coming. To everybody out there, do stay tuned to the website. We're going to have more interviews like this one from here at DreamHack Winter 2013.